Alex is right. I am transgender. So I'm just like Alex's girlfriend and family because we all have a useless we want to get rid of.
What's up, guys? Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. Just taking a quick second to talk about the first half to Roast Battle. I did them in reverse order, and I think that was because I like Jamar so much, and I had just seen that one, and I was like, let me do this. I don't know why, but this particular one that we're about to talk about, they didn't have the full episode available on YouTube, and they didn't have the full episode available on Facebook either. It was just clips on both. So the amount of stuff I was able to pull was limited. I'll still talk about it, though. I will tell you that on this one, we got to see Joshua Meyerowitz, which if you guys don't know, Josh Meyerowitz, he's at Autistic Thunder on Twitter. And he's just, he's always been a part of the roast battle. He announces Brian Moses usually, and you see him on the episode jumping around. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull a clip on that, but I really love Josh Meyerowitz. And he's a part of the roast battle atmosphere at this point, so much that when I saw the other seasons and I didn't see him, well, you know, he was in the crowd on one of them, but I don't think he was like center stage, and I could be wrong. On the other seasons. But on this one, he's actually jumping up, and I was so glad to see him because I love him so much, and I think he's such a part of Roast Battle that I'm glad to see him on it. And then Brian Moses is actually the host of Roast Battle, which I'm going to tell you guys, I know a lot of the people from Roast Battle. I don't consult them before I do these, and I don't plan to start consulting them before I do these. I would rather do these from like kind of a fan perspective. I've always enjoyed Roast Battle, and I definitely am a fan, and I have no problem admitting that. I'm a fan of the show. I'm a fan of some of the roast battlers, so I would rather comment as a fan instead of going in and talking to people and being like, okay, here's the inside scoop or whatever. I don't really care to do that. So everything I say is my opinion. None of this is like, you know, oh, this is what they told me behind the scenes. If I ever do get a behind the scenes, I will definitely tell you. I will definitely be like, oh yeah, this is the behind the scenes. But Brian Moses, I wanted to say, is the host of Roast Battle. And I love the ridiculousness he says, and I love the delivery that he gives. And if you're ever at Roast Battle, the actual show in LA, in Comedy Store in the Belly Room, you'll notice that Brian Moses on certain nights when maybe the audience is a little bit quiet or the battlers aren't the greatest on certain days, because sometimes, you know, people are new to battling and they'll have a full lineup of people that aren't the most seasoned, or it'll be one that's really great and then the rest aren't seasoned. And on some nights, Brian Moses really does carry the show. That is undeniable to any fan of Roast Battle. On this particular episode, it was Alex Duong versus Robin Tran, which, just to give you a little history, Alex Duong, I consider him a good friend. I've been seeing him since he first started doing stand-up, which hasn't been that long, and I've seen his journey just as far as going from first starting to do Roast Battle and trying to find, like, his legs as far as Roast Battle went, and then turning into, like, a really good and really fun roast battler. I really love a lot of stuff that he does. Another person that I hope you guys get to see at some point is Cesar Lizardo. He just had a baby, well, his girl just had a baby, you know, not too long ago. But he's really developed into a really good roast battler, and I hope that he gets to be on one of the upcoming seasons, providing that Comedy Central decides to keep up with the show. I do want to say again, Comedy Central, I give them a lot of kudos, and you know, if you pay attention to me, I have been critical of Comedy Central before. I've done a couple of shows of theirs, Stand Up Revolution, Live at Gotham, which I did stand up on both of those, and I like Comedy Central as a whole. Sometimes I feel like they miss the mark, sometimes I feel like they water it down a little bit too much. And some people will say, well, Ty, you have a lot of nerve saying that about Comedy Central. Well, I'm a stand-up comedian, and I actually do stand-up. So I can have an opinion every once in a while, and if you want to get mad at me, that's on you.
Sorry, YouTube.
Yeah.
I doubt anybody at Comedy Central is really getting upset with me about this shit. I'm allowed to have an opinion.
What up?
Having said that, I want to say that I really, really, really commend Comedy Central on allowing the roast battlers to get away with as much as they're allowed to get away with. And I'm sure the censors have some things to say, and every once in a while they're probably having to override some of that because of things that happen on Roast Battle or things that get said on Roast Battle. But I really do like the job that Comedy Central is doing as far as letting the battlers get away with the stuff that they have to be able to get away with in order to say the stuff that they have to say. Now, When it comes to Alex Duong, like I said, we're friends. I've seen him turn into a really good roast battler. He used to run an open mic it was an open mic / show in Hollywood at Big Wang's that was called Third World Comedy. That was a really fun show. I knew him from then. I've always liked him. As far as Robin Tran goes, when she first came out as trans, which was not that long ago, and she came out as a comic, she had been performing as a male before that, and I didn't know her back then. But by the time I caught up with her, she was already trans, and I just didn't like an article that she posted one time. I felt like it came from a weak perspective. I was honest about that. Her girlfriend got upset with me. That turned into a whole back and forth, and then there was a altercation between me and Robin, just verbal one night, because I felt like, really I wanted to talk to the girl, because I felt like, you know, you've got some potential to do some good stuff. Don't be such a whiner and such a crybaby. Like, we're all LGBT, but at the same time, I feel like it's almost our responsibility to not all the time, but a lot of times be as strong as we can possibly be and let people see that. And we can be weak around our loved ones and we can be weak around each other, and every once in a while we can show the outside world that. But when that's kind of all you're showing for a while, it's like, can you stop being such an open wound and let people see the strength that everybody's always talking about? The bravery and the strength. Because not everybody's going to agree with that, but there is a certain amount of bravery and a certain amount of strength that comes with just living your truth and being LGBT. So, having said that, I want you guys to know that my opinions do not come from a place of not liking Robin Tran. As far as I go, me and Robin Tran are back at a zero balance. I don't know how she feels about it, but I have no hard feelings against her. What I will say as far as the battle went is just based on jokes. Alex Duong took it for me. And I say this in such a matter-of-fact tone because a friend of mine, who I really love, had hit me up and said that she felt that Robin Tran had been robbed. And originally, when I heard that, I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And then I was like, but one thing that I think you have to remember is sometimes if a person's from a marginalized community, and which, like, you know, if you're a double minority, so you're Asian and trans, it kind of becomes a dicey prospect. And I'm not sure if this is going to play out like the other roast battles. Roast battles from the past seasons have been like they keep going on in rounds and then eventually they end up crowning a winner. And so if a person's community or a person themselves is likely to kind of play a victim card at some point, I think they might be a little less willing to let that go forward, because it's kind of like, all right, well, at least we got away with that hot potato move and, you know, got to move on. And that's what I said, just having not seen the episode. After having seen the episode, and again, I will remind you, nobody has told me anything like this. This was me strictly talking from an even before I had seen the episode perspective. And I'm just telling you guys because I feel like I should be honest about that. And maybe people will take that a little bit to heart in the way that they conduct themselves when it comes to certain things, when it comes to stand-up, or maybe not. Maybe people don't think I'm crazy. Anyway, I'm just trying to be full disclosure on that type of thing. But then I watched the battle, and I just thought Alex Duong was so great. Like, one of the jokes that I liked that he did was, he said, Robin, how do you have the lisp of Mike Tyson and the body of all his punching bags? And I lost it. Then there was one of his comebacks where he was like, thank you, Madea goes to Hong Kong. And I lost it again. And I just felt like Robin had some good jokes, but for roast battle, especially the way they're doing it now, if you watch the episode, you saw that Alex's entrance was like him punching a board and fighting with the ninja and that kind of stuff. And I think when you're a person like Robin Tran, who's not really going to give that much in the way of stage presence, and then you're also not going to give that much in the way of showmanship, I feel like it kind of all goes into a cluster.
Alex quit med school to pursue stand-up comedy. He's the only Asian to disappoint his parents more than I did.
You're right, Robin. I did drop out because a lot like you, I can't handle periods.
So you have to be graded on everything. You know, it's like if you're turning in a paper or something, it's like you can't just be graded on one part. It has to be like, okay, we're going to grade you on everything. And as far as this went, stage presence, of course, is going to be a part of it. So I didn't feel like she had the best stage presence. So Alex had it for me just as far as jokes went. I know there was that joke that they kept playing on Comedy Central about how Alex's Robin has something in common with Alex's family, and that's that they all have a dick they're trying to get rid of, or useless dick they're trying to get rid of, or they hope to one day get rid of. I don't remember how it went, and that wasn't me being disrespectful. I just didn't write it down because I really didn't think it was that funny. I've seen Robin. I'm gonna 100% honest. I've seen Robin absolutely destroy it. I don't know if you can find it online, but there might be on YouTube. Robin Tran versus Keith Carey. That happened at the Comedy Store in the Belly Room. It's not going to be a Comedy Central clip. It'll probably be if you search Robin Tran and Keith Carey. Then there was Robin Tran and Connor McSpadden. That was a great battle. Robin was great in that. I think kind of her stage presence usually will lose the battles for her, if I remember correctly, because here's the deal with roast battle when it happens in real life, and I'm just going to say this really quick. When it happens in real life at the Comedy Store, in the Belly Room, what happens is sometimes the battles are so great that you don't even care about who won. Like, they do have standings, and you can check that out online if you go to, I think it's verbalviolence.com, or search the Roast Battle blog, and you'll see a listing of who the top contenders in the LA version are. But you'll notice, if you ever go to the show, that it's so fun sometimes that you don't even care about who won and who lost. You just know it was a great battle. And that's what happened with Robin and Keith Carey, and Robin and Connor McSpadden. And I think there was Robin and I don't know if it was Sarah Keller, who's a really good roast battler, or it was one of the girls that's a really great roast battler, but it was also a great battle. So she does write really good jokes, but again, you're losing a lot of things because of TV. So where in a room like the Belly Room, which is a really small room, if you've ever been there, I'm not even sure what capacity is on that room. It's probably under 100 or maybe just at 100. It's a small room, and it's all enclosed, and the energy in there gets so crazy that it's like you get caught up in it. You're enveloped in it. But when it comes to, TV, it's much bigger, and they're at the Fonda Theater, and it's Thunderdome, which is also a great atmosphere, but a lot of the personalities, more like Robin's, might wash out when it comes to that venue. And so after watching the battle, I don't think there was any kind of political correctness play involved on the part of Roast Battle or Comedy Central or anything like that as far as why Robin didn't move on. I really do feel like that one was called exactly the way it needed to be called. Alex Duong won that, hands down, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. You can agree, you can disagree. Either way, I'd like to hear what you guys think. And I hope you guys will tune in tomorrow. We'll be talking about who knows what. But please give it the thumbs up. Subscribe, leave a comment. I love you all. Ty Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. Mwah!
Robin looks like an alpha female. Wait, shit, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Robin looks like alpha if he was a female.